Alright, in this quick video lesson we're going to take a look at creating a box and whisker plot. A box and whisker plot is a graphical representation of data that is collected. Specifically, we're going to be looking at the minimum, the maximum, the median, the lower quartile, and the upper quartile as represented in a graph. Alright, so first we need to get data. In this case, we are going to look at the responses by 24 season ticket holders when they were asked of the 50 game season, how many games were you able to attend using your season ticket? So take a look at that data. You see not many people made it out to the games. Well, these people didn't make it out to the games very often. And anyway, we've got the data collected, you know, as we asked people, jotted it down. If you remember what we're looking for a minimum, a maximum, and a median. Those are probably the most familiar terms to you at this moment, and what they might make you think of is the need to place that data in order. So that's what we're going to do. Now here comes something to think about. Whenever you rewrite data, and in this case we're rewriting it in order, you want to make sure that you don't add or miss any data points. So always when you rewrite data, recount all the data that you have, compare it to the original data, make sure nothing new is there and nothing is lost. Alrighty, so now we have it in order. Now you want to create a number line. This is where we're going to graph the box and whisker plot. We're actually going to graph it above the number line. If at any point you need to pause the video to go ahead and write this down, take notes, actually follow along with us with this particular data set, please do so. Pause the video. I'm going pretty quick. So we need this number line. You can choose a scale that you feel is appropriate. I went ahead and chose from 0 to 20, anticipating maybe having to graph another box and whisker plot on this. So actually 20 could have been extended a little bit, but we'll go ahead and use what we've got there. The data is rewritten below in order. So we want to take a look at the quick ones. We want to take a look at the minimum. Easy one to find. It's at the beginning of our data set. It's the smallest one. We want to graph it. After we find the minimum, you might anticipate, yes, finding the maximum. So there it is, 18. We want to graph it. Notice I'm graphing above the number line. You'll often see box and whisker plots graphed in this way. And next we need to find the median. Now the median isn't as easy as observing the beginning or the end of our data set here. We need to actually go through a process of finding the middle number. So you may have been instructed in the past to go ahead and start counting from the minimum and from the maximum and marking off as you go in towards the center. We're going to go ahead and do something like that right now. You may have also been given some mathematical ways, some computational ways, of finding the median. In this case, there were 24 data points. We know that's an even number, so it's when divided by 2, we'll find that it's 12. And you may notice on the left there are 12 data points as well as on the right. Unfortunately, we have 2 data points in the middle, and a median is a single number, not a pair of numbers. So what do we do with 2 data points in the middle? Well, we find their average, or add them up and divide by 2. Same mathematical process. And we find 15 plus 15 divided by 2 is, wow, 15. Graph it. Alright, now finding the lower quartile and the upper quartile is going to be done in very much the same fashion. We're going to go ahead and start from the beginning of our of the first half, the lower half on the left hand side, and the end of the lower half on the left hand side, and start counting towards the middle. Now if you're thinking in your head, hey wait, that's 12 divided by 2 is 6. Yes, we're going to have 6 points on the left and 6 points on the right, which means again we've got 2 data points shared in the middle. Same process, add them up, divide by 2. In this case, we get a number that is not part of our data set, and that is 12.5. That is a lower quartile. We graph it. Maybe looking ahead and seeing we are going to do the same exact thing for the upper quartile, and look, we are. Get the same situation, 2 shared data points in the middle, add them up, divide by 2. Now you may even notice down there at the bottom, it looks like we've divided our data point up into kind of equal divisions here, right? We've divided it up into fourths, and that's exactly what these quartiles represent, as well as the median. The median represents the first half, of the data points, the smaller half at the beginning, the larger half at the end, and the quartiles again divide those halves into two. And anytime you cut a pie in half and then cut those halves again, you end up with quarters. Okay, in this case you'll notice that word quartile is very similar to quarters. What we found our upper quartile, we didn't graph it. There it is. Okay, now it's time to go ahead and complete our graph, because now we have graphed the 5-number summary. However, we have not created a box and whisker plot. And in order to do that, we need to connect our lower quartile as well as our upper quartile with a box. And in this case, our median is a different number than our lower and upper quartile. That may not always be the case. Whenever you get maybe a large data set where a number repeats itself over many instances, you may actually run into a case where the median and the upper quartile are the same number, or the median and lower quartile are the same number, or even your minimum in your lower quartile or your maximum in your upper quartile. When you get a long string of the same numbers over and over again, some of those lines may actually be the same data point. Okay? In this case it's not, and we have our median of 15 right there in the middle of the box. And now it's time to graph the whiskers, and that's simply connecting the edges of the box to the minimum and the maximum. There we go. Now this video's intent was to show you how to graph a box and whisker plot and find our 5-number summary. It's not a video on how to analyze it. That's another task. So hopefully this helped along the way. If you are doing it along with us, I hope you found some success, and enjoy the rest of your day and graphing even more box and whisker plots. Have a good one.